Survivors of the deadly Palisades fire in Southern California don't just want answers, they want heads to roll. January will mark 1 year since the fire ripped through the tight-knit coastal community. Residents say they are no closer to anyone taking responsibility for the alleged missteps that led to the widespread devastation. Several survivors spoke yesterday at a field hearing organized by Senators Rick Scott and Ron Johnson. Reality TV star Spencer Pratt has become an outspoken voice in the fight for accountability. He got emotional recounting the day he lost his home.
By the grace of God, my family survived. The 12, the Palisades family were killed in the fire. Nearly all of them elderly or disabled, left to die in their homes. These 12 people deserved to feel safe in their homes, but were instead lost in fire that was the direct result of gross negligence and mismanagement by our state and our local government.
The state of California, LA County, and the LA Fire Department have spent the last several months blaming each other for what happened. NewsNation's investigative correspondent Rich McHugh has spent those months investigating which of those might be at fault. And his latest report might get us closer to an answer.
Hi, Elizabeth. According to the ATF, the Palisades fire began on state land. The state says it was not the responsibility to monitor or respond to it. The lead attorney against the state says the state's dead wrong and he has the receipts to prove it. Furthermore, he says that the state may have interfered with the Los Angeles Fire Department mop-up. This is the start of the Palisades fire, what would become the worst in LA's history, taking 12 lives and over 6,800 structures. Federal officials say it all began on January 1st when an arsonist started the Lockman fire. The Lockman fire was thought to be extinguished, but underground embers reignited 6 days later, starting a second, more devastating fire, the Palisades fire, and with it, a storm of controversy. Governor Gavin Newsom this week pointing to climate change.
We're on the tip of the spear of climate change, simultaneous droughts and simultaneous floods. The hots are getting a lot hotter, the dries drier. You saw one of the most devastating wildfires in American history in the middle of winter in Los Angeles.
But that's not what his spokesperson tells NewsNation in response to a lawsuit from over 3,000 Palisades residents alleging the state failed to monitor embers from the initial fire. They said the state didn't start this fire, that was an arsonist, and the state wasn't responsible for responding to or monitoring this fire. But the lead attorney representing the Palisades family says Governor Newsom is wrong, that the state's own guidelines prove the state was responsible.
It says where a wildfire burns on state park land, the state must close the land until a state park representative had gone up and determined that there are no further hazards to the public.
Did they close the park?
They did not. People were able to hike up through there while the embers in the hillside remained active.
On January 1st, a hiker took this video of the fire smoldering. The next day, a different hiker also captured the fire smoldering. But the most damning, Bailey says, is that there was a state park representative interfering with the Los Angeles Fire Department mop-up days before the Palisades fire ignited.
We have reports of a state park representative coming up to the area of the Lockman burn scar with a map and directing firefighters what they could touch and not touch. They could bulldoze, not bulldoze. We know that occurred on January 2nd.
Is this people that you've spoken to or you've talked to that said they saw this?
Yeah, people that were present at the Lockman burn scar on the 2nd of January saw a state park rep with a map up in the area telling firefighters what they could do and not do in that area.
911 calls continued. Call logs show that the next day, on January 3rd, a caller reported seeing wisps of smoke.
And other people said, hey, look, we're still seeing smoke up there, and yet nothing was done. And it should have been done by the state. The state should have been up there until they were certain that there was no risk of a rekindling.
We asked the state parks about this. They declined to answer, citing pending litigation, but they did say They did not close the parks because the Los Angeles Fire Department declared the fire contained. We asked Governor Newsom's office to respond to a series of questions. They did not, and reiterated that the state is not responsible for monitoring or responding to this fire. Elizabeth?
All right, all to be settled, to be sure, in court. Rich McHugh, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.